Hey, we're the Fray, and we love New York City. So we're going to tell you about some of our favorite spots.
One of the places I cannot live without in New York City is a place called Southern Hospitality. It is by far the best Southern barbecue place in the city.
Southern Hospitality is essentially inspired by a lot of the restaurants you find in Beale Street in Memphis. Very fun, casual environment, comfort food, great barbecue, cold beer.
You don't really associate New York City with barbecue necessarily. This is better than a lot of the places I've been to down south.
We have wet ribs and dry rub ribs. The dry rub ribs are 18 different spices in the rub.
The fried pickles are unbelievable.
Southern Hospitality is a big expression. Now, what that means to us is very polite service, very warm, gracious atmosphere, very comfortable, very inviting, above and beyond wonderful food and wonderful service, and I hope we give them all of that.
One of the places I cannot do without in New York City is Bauman's Rare Books on Madison.
Bowman Rare Books deals in what we call landmark books in all fields, books from the beginning of print in the 15th century to the present day.
It's got the best selection, and I'm really into old, crappy books that are really expensive.
Some of the most desirable and sought-after books that we have at the moment are first edition of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald in its original dust jacket, first editions of all 4 Winnie the Pooh books by A. Milne from the 1920s, early edition of John James Audubon's Birds of North America, one of the great illustrated American books of all time, and first edition of Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak.
It's just a magical room with books that are hundreds of years old and smell like it.
Our feeling, and the feeling on our clientele, is that you never really own the books, you just sort of take care of them for the next generation.
And the finale is an espresso bar on 6th Avenue called Zibetto's.
Zibetto Espresso Bar is traditional Italian espresso bar, where the coffee is served al banco at the bar, exactly like in Italy.
It is a diamond in the rough being Midtown, no offense to anyone who likes Midtown. We can go to this tiny little room that serves really good espresso.
Traditional espresso is when you just use the espresso and the milk and not starting to add flavors and spices to it. It's a tiny place, but people squeeze in because they like the coffee, and we create a nice atmosphere. We know a lot of customers by first name. If you're into coffee, you should definitely go check it out.
Well, that's it. We are the Fray. Thanks for hanging out with us. Now you know what we do in New York. Go do it. And buy our record while you're at it.